Well, hello from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. You can see that control arm. Well, it's sticking straight up. If you see a little cab there by the control arm, that's the Avenger IV, which I don't believe I've ever seen. I can say I've never seen, but I don't believe I've ever seen before. So they are in lock right ahead of the first saltie of the year, heading for Algoma Steel there. I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation, the Patagonman. Patagonman. I guess we'll leave that up to the consensus if I'm accurate or not. So I have Argo here. You see, well, maybe let me zoom out. His leash here looped over because we're right here, still able to stand on the snow. So, and I can comfortably put my elbow right here on the fence. So how about that? You can see the ice here in the approach. It's pretty loose on the other side, so we'll get a view here of this tug coming through. And I see the lines are starting to go slack on the saltie of the Patagonman. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. Makes me think I'm saying it wrong. And they'll be getting underway here soon as well. So this will actually be the first footage I have of a vessel going through the ice this year. So here we go. I believe the Avenger IV is heading over there to Algoma Steel, and it could be to help out with that saltie, getting them into the export dock. So, and I only know they're heading for the export dock because I heard them on the radio say it. So. Of course, the Avenger IV is from Purvis Marine. You can see the PML there. I think that stands for Purvis Marine. I don't know what the L is for, though. But you can see it's pretty loose ice over there. So, been a lot of ships going through there, keeping it loose and broken up. There we go, and you'll see there's a bush there, which will be obscuring us, well, right about now. So I heard on the radio that they were delivering steel to the steel plant, which makes me think that they might be delivering parts for the new furnace that they're working on. So they've been working on building a new, what's it called, an arc furnace? Gosh, I've not talked about it since last year, so I'm not sure. I think it's something arc furnace. So they won't have to use coal to melt steel. And I believe once they switch over, they also won't be using taconite. I think they'll be recycling steel primarily, if I remember correctly. So, but don't hold any of that as being 100% truth. I could definitely be wrong. So since it's been a little bit here, I'm going to switch just a little bit while we're watching. Here on the left of the screen, you'll see those are the stop logs. And those are put into, there's a recess just above the lock gate. So those are slid into a recess. And that yellow bar you see, that is how they move them. So it's like a spreader bar. And that's how they move them with the crane to get them into position. And they have them on each end. And that way they can dewater the lock in the winter and open the gates and do work on the locks. Now this last winter, they did not dewater the locks. And I put an asterisk there because when I was in the lock park for the opening, it looked like the MacArthur lock didn't have much water in it. So it looked like it'd been mostly dewatered. But yeah, it definitely looked lower than it would be at low pool on the St. Mary's River side of the lock. There we go. Another little thing about these saltwater boats, and it might be any ship that's not flagged US or Canadian. They require a river pilot to navigate through the river here. So normally there's a pilot boat that picks up the pilots above here and a pilot boat down in Detour that, so they get on and off at each end. So I'm not sure though, since they're going to Algoma, maybe they'll just walk off the boat and drive back across, because I was thinking about the pilot boat going through this ice, and I don't know. There we go. You can see several crew members up there on the bow. These saltwater vessels, obviously designed to cross the ocean. It's always interesting to watch when we get bad weather on the lakes. A lot of times they won't even go to anchor. They'll just blast through it, because you can see the shape of their hull and that they're made to kind of take those waves like that, as opposed to the Lakers that have a bit different shape. You see, it must be getting ready to tie up. Makes me wonder if they're going to do a flip around, because I don't know if you saw, it looks like they were getting some lines ready on the side here. So it makes me think they're going to go out, spin around facing downriver when they tie up. Patagonman. So I'm going with. I looked up the name, but I do not recall the country they sail from. There we can get kind of a whole view here before they get too big. I do actually have one slightly wider lens on this phone, but it has a fair bit of distortion on it. Here you can really tell when you start tilting like this, it becomes much more evident, the distortion of the wide angle. Here I'm gonna go from super wide to full zoom here. Whoop. Yeah, pushing through that ice, no problem. I can't really even hear it rubbing against the hull. There they are, several stories above us. See, they have that tilt over mast, whatever you want to call it, as well. I wonder if they tilt that up out on the ocean. I don't know. And every time I see one of those lifeboats, I'm always thinking of that movie with was it Captain Phillips? Is that what it is? Gosh, now I'm not sure. With Tom Hanks. It's a rough ride. Take one of those. That's for sure. All right. There we go. There's our first saltwater. Oh, Singapore. Look at that right there. I just had to wait. My question was answered. The first saltwater vessel of the year is coming here. I'm a poet and don't know it. There we go. So, okay. I'm going to wrap that up. Come over here to the best boy. He's just been hanging out here because I got him tied up to the fence. What do you think, Argo? Is it time to go home for dinner? You want some dinner? I think that he does. Okay. Gonna wrap this up. We will we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you soon.